Hunters, Riku on here again, and we're going to be talking about the top 6 things I think Metroid Prime 4 needs to be successful, and these things can be anything from gameplay mechanics to story and anything in between. So it should be pretty interesting. It's something that I've wanted to talk about for a while. I just haven't been able to really collect my thoughts on it, and especially with all the new gameplay video that we've been seeing and stuff like that, it's kind of given me the chance to really hone in on exactly what I wanted to see in Prime 4. Because I had a lot of grand ideas with Prime 4, but at the same time, a lot of them really didn't fit with the scope of how the games work. So let's go ahead and get started off at number 6, being new power-ups. And now I know you're probably saying, Riku, every game adds in new power-ups. And yes, you're right, but what I really mean is I want new power-up variety. Similar to how Samus Returns added in Aeon abilities, which were nice, but I want to see more, because in most games we get missiles, suits, and beams, and there's multiple versions, but they've been the same beams, suits, or missiles that we've seen in previous games. And adding in variety, like how we got the dark suit and light suit, the seeker missiles in Prime 2, the PD suit and grapple lasso and things like that in Prime 3, I felt were great additions, and adding in more variety like this would be welcomed, because I love seeing new additions to Samus's armory, and if they are implemented well, can be absolutely amazing and really give you that sense of power and advancement during the game that the Prime series is known for. And these power-ups could be anything from like time travel, which Tanabe has mentioned before, or to things like grapple beam modifications that allow you to do more with the grapple beam than just swing on something or pull something to you. Or even wall running, which we kind of have that with, boost ball. And I just want to see more weird little things like that that can really elevate Samus's movement and ability to do everything that she should, or even might have been something we would have never thought she could do in the Prime series. And for number 5 on this list, I would say a larger and more developed worlds. And I know that with that interview with Tanabe, where he had said for Prime 4 he wanted the game to have 4 things in particular, one of those things was to return to a single planet, similar to how Prime 1 was, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, and can even be great if it's done right, like in Prime 1. And if that is the case, having a larger open world can be amazing for the Prime series, so long as it's not done in a way like Breath of the Wild did, where it was an open world, but there was very little enemy variety within it, and very little in general within it. Granted, the mechanics of the Breath of the Wild world are phenomenal. I'm not going to argue with that at all. But I will say, like, the variety of what you could do and the variety of enemies that you ran into were almost non-existent, to be honest. And I feel like a huge draw of the Prime series is the enemy variety and world building that the locations themselves do in the interactivity of the areas that you explore. And even if this is done across multiple worlds, even if they have to do it be a little bit smaller overall, but still provide overall the same amount of space that a single world would, with minimum loading times between them, or are made seamless through flight with a ship, that would be absolutely crazy, and I think that could really broaden the game. Even just make it run smoother in general, because I know Prime 3 had a lot of issues where, like, we were sitting there and we were like, door, open door, open, please, I'm being shot, stop. But that's beside the point. Well, not really. It does have to do with the point. But yeah, larger worlds with more to them, more just in general, whether it be lore, stuff like that, would be absolutely amazing, because the world building and the size of the worlds in Metroid, and that it already was technically open world in a sense, was absolutely phenomenal, and to see that on a grander scale would be absolutely amazing. Coming in at number 4 for this list is more interactivity and ship battles. Now, this one applies to both single planet and multi-planet game world, and is dependent on which way they go with it, because if it's a single planet game world, I'd really love to see them double down on the interactivity of the world like Prime 3 did, just without the gimmickiness of Prime 3's motion controls, which I don't think are all that bad, but a lot of people didn't like. But if you know me and have been in any of my streams, one of the biggest things that I love about Prime 3 was being able to go into Samus's ship and interact with the buttons and the thrusters and things like that. But it also did leave a lot to be desired, because you open the game and you go into playing with a ship and you're like, oh cool, I'm going to get to fly the ship. And then it's like, got you. No, you don't. And with that, you know, it really left a lot to be desired for it. I feel like things like this could be so much more developed, even if it's for a single world. Well, it's like going into the ship and seeing an armory with all of her past weapons, using the ship for more things than just blowing up Leviathan seeds or walls, or maybe even getting to pilot from location to location for a quick travel across the world. Yeah, or even having a boss fight on it, like Mike Wiccan, I believe you say his last name is Wiccan. Mentioned in his recent interview where, you know, it was going to be in the original Prime game, or his pitch for the original Prime game, that you fought Ridley while on top of the ship, while you were raising and lowering the shields to deflect his shots, while having to fight Ridley in front and behind the ship, which would be really awesome. Like, honestly, that's an idea that I can understand why they didn't do it, because it would have taken so much time and effort to make, and probably wasn't within what they were able to do for the game at the time. But, I would love to see that. And if the game is a multi-planet game, then allowing us to fly from one world to the other and combat space pirate ships from time to time and explore the space between the planets a bit more, since Metroid is all about the exploration and collecting power-ups to advance the game, would be amazing as well. Like, imagine just taking your ship and finding a random asteroid on the way from, like, say, SR-388 to Zebes, and you're like, I wonder what's going on here. It looks like it has some sort of, like, outpost or something being built on it, and you find power-ups there for your ship or for armor, and you get these zero gravity areas. It would just be awesome. And I'd love to see this with not only the ship, but the rest of the stuff within the world too, whether it be like interacting with more consoles, taking in, you know, maybe building more things using the ship, or different abilities, and just seeing more interactivity overall throughout the world would really give it more of a, I can feel this world more. I can really learn about it and understand how these Chozo or whatever really built their structures and planned out their engineering and just kind of lived their normal day-to-day life. Coming in at number 3 on this list is more side characters. And now I know you're probably saying, but Riku, the Metroid series is all about isolation, and I don't disagree with that. But I'm also a big fan of the Hunters game, and one of the things Tanabe said he'd like to do is make the story of Prime 4 center more around Samus and Silex's relationship with each other and the Galactic Federation, and for Samus to have some form of time travel ability or time manipulation ability, and I feel like the combo of these would allow them to take the game in a direction that allows them to explore Samus's past along with Silex's, and even bring moments from like the Hunter game into full glory of a main console-based Prime game, and reintroduce the other Hunters like Trace, who's by far my favorite, and allow for more meaningful interactions with them than just battling them and them disappearing after you defeat them. And going beyond that to learn more about them as individuals and still acquire their signature weapons for later use on in the game, if they so choose. And if done right, they can still tell a fairly story-driven story in the game, while still allowing for plenty of exploration, world building, and isolation if it's balanced correctly, even recapping and allowing new fans to play at least parts of the game that they might not get a chance to play that's more fleshed out than the original was able to be, and even could possibly lead into a full remake of the Hunters game later down the line. Please, Nintendo, please. And I've been saying that for a really long time. I just really want to see Hunters get a full remake that really fleshes out the story and more and improves the boss battles while allowing us to have a fun arena shooter to play with our friends. Now, coming in at number 2 on this list is an upgraded map system. Because, like, to be honest, I've played Prime 1 and 2 recently a couple different times. And, that map. Those maps. Now, granted, what they did with them were genius and amazing at the time. But I would love to see them really flesh it out where it makes it really smooth. I feel like Prime 3, out of the 3 of them, definitely had the smoothest of all the maps to navigate and understand. But I'd love to see them add in things similar to how Dread's doing with, like, map markers, maybe even add in waypoints. So if there's a specific place that you're trying to get to quickly, then you can just kind of mark it on your map and it can help direct you, not necessarily fully point you in it, because, to be honest, the Prime worlds are quite large as is, and navigating around them can be a little bit of a chore, even though backtracking is what we're used to. Maybe even making Samus a little bit faster would work out for that, but I just love to see more detail in the maps as well. Just overall overhauling the map system in the Prime games to really make it give as much information and be able to be used as much as possible with ease of access, maybe even giving it like a little piece in the HUD up here. Yeah, like up here, where you could be like, okay, I know I'm here. These are the options I have on my way out. I need to go this way. And the last thing on this list that I feel like is number 1 is love, support, and marketing. Now, I know this is probably not one of the things you expected me to say for the last one on this list, especially with all the love and support and marketing that we are seeing for Metroid Dread coming out on October 8th. But with Prime 4, it's going to need that same level of love and support from the fans and potential new fans as well from Nintendo and Retro Studios, which I know Retro Studios for sure, they will do an amazing job. They've shown they will put plenty of love and care into the game 3 times before this, and I don't doubt they'll do it for a 4th as well. But it does worry me that the Galactic Federation troops may end up looking like more like ODSTs than they already have with all the former Bungie employees that are now working at Retro. But that's a minor worry, to be completely honest. And I don't think that'll ever happen because I trust in Retro. It does worry me that it could, but I trust Retro. I know they know what they're doing. Now, when it comes to us, the fans, when Nintendo first announced Prime 4, and even when they delayed it and restarted work on it, we saw the same thing when it comes to love and support that Retro has shown us with how they put it into the game, where a large number of the community voiced that they were fine with waiting, and we were just so excited to see it coming into existence. Like, we've been waiting for it pretty well almost as long as Dread, if not longer, technically. Yeah, no, almost as long, because Prime 2 and 3 came out. I was thinking from original Prime release date. And when they do finally put out that first new trailer for the game, I don't doubt we'll see the same thing happen we are seeing now with Dread. And the hype will be unreal, along with the love and support for it. And I can only hope we'll see the same kind of push from Nintendo marketing-wise that we are seeing for Metroid Dread for Prime 4, where they show off plenty of gameplay elements and really give it the same push you see for Legend of Zelda games, Mario games, that we're seeing now for Dread, while still managing to give us just enough of the story to hook us, but not necessarily give away all the story. Because I'm not someone who really worries about spoilers from trailers. I personally feel that what we've seen for Dread so far has been absolutely perfect marketing wise, other than that one slip up yesterday, or yesterday, the day before, whichever day it was. My days are all sorts of mixed up. But now, well, if it if it was me playing the game for the first time, while I'm actually playing it on, say, like stream or something like that, or even just in my house, and it wasn't shown in the pre-release marketing of the game, and then and only then is when I'd be particular about it. And that only really applies to a few game franchises like Metroid or Halo, while if it was a game like, say, the Ori games, where I love the game, but I'm not a super fan of it, like how I am for Metroid and Halo, it wouldn't matter as much for me, especially when I found out, well, spoiler alert, that the second game story was basically the same story, just in a new place. But with that said, guys and gals, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch through this. It really does mean a lot to me, and I'd love to hear what y'all think down below on what you think Prime 4 needs to succeed when it's released, whether there was anything you agreed with, disagreed with from my list, what you are hoping for most from Prime 4, as well as maybe what your favorite game in the Prime and or Metroid series is, and what do you think they could do to improve the franchise in general. I'd also like to take the time to remind you that on October 8th, I'll be doing a 24-hour stream for Metroid Dread, and if we can hit 750 to 1,000 followers, which we're at, like, I think 603, 605, something like that right now, I'll be doing a giveaway for Samus Returns Collector's Box and a 3-pack Metroid Prime 4-inch figure set that has the Varia, Gravity, and Phazon suits in it. And as well, and as always, I'll do my best to keep putting out more Metroid-based videos as well. Also, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button, since it helps me know what y'all like and what you want to see more of. That way I can continue to improve and make better and more entertaining videos for you all. And on top of that, I'll also have links in the description for my Twitch, Discord, and Discord. So if you're interested, feel free to follow me there as well. I try at least to stream twice a week at minimum, and I'd love to talk more Metroid with y'all there and on the Discord. So until next mission, much love, keep hunting those Metroids, and I'll see you next time for top 10 most annoying enemies from the Metroid franchise.